you all about is Fiat. And this has to do with this seriousness of what debate coaches tell their children when they start debate, especially what they tell people like me who take a lot of things, take a lot of people in earnest. My debate coach when I was a little thing told me that there was this thing in debate called Fiat, and it was a magic wand that made whatever you wanted to happen in the world, right? Well, I believe in magic, so for me, that changed a lot of things when I thought about debate. And when I started to think about debate, again, this way, it drove this idea home for me, that Fiat is part of debate. But what Fiat is up to us. And this is a piece that I had commissioned by two student artists that go to the school that I teach at. And if you can decipher the graffiti, it spells the word F-I-A-T, right? And the reason I got this was because A, it's super cheesy and I'm cheesy, right? But the second reason is because it reminds me of something that I think is critically important, which is that debate is about creating something, right? So every time you do debate, think about that there is some little type of magic going on, that it is more than just a competition. It's a chance to interact, like I said, with the best and brightest of us. It's a chance to behave and speak in a way that you get to speak and act in no other place. Debate is extremely precious and will only be more precious to you after you debate the last times you get to debate. So take the serious act of relating with the magical power of debate seriously, because you have a limited time to do it, and it has tremendous potential to unmake and remake you into a much different person. Like I said, I've seen debate raise children out of poverty. I've seen debate take kids who have no grades and watch them graduate. I've seen debate save my life more than one time in serious earnest. So I guess the thing I want to leave you with is just an idea of why I love debate and why I think you should continue to do it. And it has to do with this sense of magic. This also is profoundly about identity. Like I told you, I'm a comic book nerd. And my friend over here, Zach, is also a comic book nerd. And he's never heard this argument before. And it's about how we should all think of ourselves as superheroes. And so I want to welcome you into my superhero team. We call ourselves the Invisibles, and we are secretly out to change the world for better. And the only tool we have at our disposal is the super awesome power of debate. This is the Nietzschean Superman. Have you not heard of that madman who lit a lantern in the bright morning hours, ran to the marketplace, and cried incessantly, "I seek God! I seek God!" As many of those who did not believe in God were standing around just then to provoke much laughter. Has he got lost? Did he lose his way like a child? Or is he hiding? Is he afraid of us? Has he gone on a voyage, emigrated? The madman jumped into their midst and pierced them with his eyes. "Whither is God?" he cried. "I will tell you. We have killed him. You and I, all of us are his murderers. But how did we do this? How could we drink up the sea? Who gave us the sponge to wipe away the entire horizon? What were we doing when we unchained this earth from its sun? Whither is it moving now? Whither are we moving away from all suns? Are we not plunging continuously and backward, sideward, forward, in all directions? Is there still any up and down? Are we not straying as though through an infinite nothing? Do we not feel the breath of empty space? Has it not become colder? Is it not night continually closing in on us? Do we not need to light lanterns in the morning? Do we not hear nothing as yet of the noise of the grave diggers who are burying God? Do we smell nothing as yet of the divine decomposition? God's too decomposed. God is dead. God remains dead, and we have killed him. How shall we comfort ourselves, the murderers of all murderers? What was holiest and mightiest of all the world, and yet unknown, has bled to death under our knives? Who will wipe this blood off us? What water is there for us to clean ourselves? What festivals of atonement, what sacred games shall we have to invent? Is not this greatness of the deed too great for us? Must we not ourselves become gods to appear worthy of it? There has never been a greater deed, and whoever is born after us for the sake of this deed will belong to a higher history than all history hitherto. Here the madman fell silent and looked again at his listeners. They too were silent and stared at him in astonishment. At last he threw his lantern to the ground and broke it into pieces and went out. I have come too early, he said then. My time is not yet. This tremendous event is on the way, still wandering. It has not yet reached the ears of men. Lightning and thunder require time. The light of the stars requires time. Deeds, though done, still require time to be seen and heard. This deed is more distant from them than the most distant star, and yet they have done it themselves. For too long we have lived in ignorance of this crime. For too long we have waited for the lightning and thunder to shake us from our meager existence. We still walk around looking and acting like human beings, but we are now prepared to declare what we are great enough for our own evil genius. God is dead and we have killed him, but unlike the madman, we will not be made stupid and weak by those who doubt our greatness. We will not wait for some beam of revelation to travel the cosmos and help us see over a century could have been illuminated by the light of a simple ladder. Would we have to become gods ourselves to be worthy of such a crime? Disorientation. In space there is no direction beyond good and evil, no origin and no fate, just cold, empty breath. Would we not have to become gods ourselves to be worthy of such a crime? Hands scabbed over with the blood of the Creator turned in on the self. In the distance past, the murder once uttered, "Let there be light." And it was made so by the power of the word alone. Now it is our turn. This is where we begin with a magical utterance. Let there be Superman. We have made you a creature neither of heaven nor earth, neither mortal nor immortal, in order that you may, as the free and proud shaper of your own being, fashion yourself in a form that you may prefer. It will be in your power to descend to the lower brutish forms of life. You will be able, through your own decision, to rise again to the superior order of whose life is divine. It is 1486. Here, Giovanni Pico, with his observations on philosophy, born to a high position, we fail to appreciate, but fell instead to the estate of brutes and uncomprehending beasts of burden. The oratorio is urging us to go far beyond the human into realms of angels and gods. It asks us to accept the superhuman as an undeniable fact of our nature. If the goal of our future evolution is possible, Pico is telling us about the power of stories and imagination to reshape our future. Although his metaphors are biblical, we can call them superheroes. We learn as much from our fictional role models as we do from real people. If we reinforce that human beings are unnatural aberrations adrift in an ever-encroaching void, that story will take root in art, politics, general discourse of our culture, in anti-life, anti-creative, and potentially catastrophic ways. If we spin a tale of guilt and failure where we live the story to its conclusion, and some benighted final generation not far down the road will pay the final price. If, on the other hand, we emphasize our glory, intelligence, grace, generosity, discrimination, honesty, capacity for love, creativity, and native genius, those qualities will be made manifest in our behavior and in our works. Superhero stories exist and are a sign of our need to move on, to imagine the better, more just, and more proactive people we will be. We're surrounded by proof that we tend to live out our stories. Certain narratives are as addictive as cocaine. Commenting on the effects of compelling yarn might have made minds of enemy soldiers or suicide bombers. We should be investigating the military potential of stories by creating counter-narrative strategies engineered to undermine or oppose the religious or political storylines that inspire war, oppression, and greed. We may scoff and leave it to military experts to develop a technology whereby a cadet is told a story so convincing he believes he is superhuman before battle. I'd like to think that the magic words and spells belong to the rest of us as well. We can write new lives and new futures and live them. Stories can break hearts or foment revolution. Words can put electricity into our hearts and make our blood run cold. And the idea of Superman is every bit as real as the idea of God. If our shallow, self-critical culture sometimes seems to lack a sense of the numinous, it is only in the same way a fish lacks a sense of the ocean, because the numinous is everywhere. We live among wonders We are the hands and eyes and ears and the sensitive, probing feelers through which the emergent, intelligent universe comes to be known in its own form and purpose. We bring the thunderbolt of meaning, significance, and unconscious matter to blank paper, the night sky. We are already divine magicians, already super gods. Why shouldn't we use all of our brilliance to leap in as many single bounds as it takes to a world beyond ours, threatened by overpopulation, mass species extinction, environmental degradation, hunger and exploitation? Superman and his pals would figure a way out of any stupid cul-de-sac we could find ourselves in, and we made Superman. All it takes is one magical word. In this sense, we are here in the interest of creating ourselves, speaking our superhuman future into reality. We begin with this creation in the dark night of Nietzschean space after the death of God. However, we will not end up as we were before. Our mortal coil, chained by gravity to the very ground we will rot in. God's to decompose. But before our return from whence we came, we will affirm the heights of human experience and daring. Now the app goes on after that to talk about some other things. But I'm going to conclude with a piece from Freak Legs, and this is a short paragraph. Freak Legs is an article I wrote. It's online. It's called How to Get Your Freak Legs. It's one of my treatises on debate. And it ends like this. And after talking to you for 2 hours, I apologize. But this is enough of the discussion on the elements that will take you on your path. I will no longer be the one to indicate you the ideas that will unmake you. Curiosity should stoke a fire in your belly. You must go out and find the next piece of future art. This is not an easy chore, and one that will certainly take some courage. But these are the things that make life most worth living. They are also things that make debate most worth doing. You have a chance every day to learn and speak and listen to more information than any other people your age. This is the greatest blessing you can have. You all get a chance to be in the world more freely than other people of your generation. This is a big responsibility and not to be taken lightly. Your ideas are the ones that will literally shape the world for those who are incapable of finding the kind of freedom you will find. You will fill the air and the earth with it. The herd will follow you and will scarcely cast a backwards glance because they will merely slow you down. You are the strong, the dynamic, the vibrant, and finally the most alive. You will need some help to carry you on this burden. Tucked into your socks are your freak legs. They will help you carry it to the places you seek. I will happily answer any questions. In that case, thank you for your time. I am done.